Dual set.
Heart to heart.
Noonas Podcast. Welcome back to the Noonas Podcast. Hey, we got it. Yeah, we kind of switched up the introduction a little bit. Ginny came up with a new introduction, and I really like it. So
thank you. Just to have like a bit of a more identity, and then see how we like are as a podcast, and like just to keep with the image, I guess, for like the logo that I designed.
Yeah. Which I mean, again, hats off to Ginny for creating our new logo. I'm sure you've all been seeing it across social media now. I've been loving it. I've been hearing so many positive things about your logo. Like, I think everybody really loves it. It's really fitting for the show. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. It's my pleasure, man. My pleasure.
Yeah, it's been wonderful, but we are back, albeit a little later this week. But I needed to recover after this last weekend of award shows, which we are going to get into today.
Yeah, I mean, you could like pretty much like say just say it's a BTS awards night, because like what we're going to discuss, you're going to hear the same name all over again. So spoiler alert, I guess.
I guess. I mean,
no surprise.
It's BTS's world. We're just living in it right now, but and we'll get into it, especially with some of the politics of award shows, because there are always politics in award shows, and
always there's a bunch of like things going on in like awards night. I think more than just like your usual awards, like in either like America with the Grammys or Emmys or like the Oscars. There's a bunch of things that's like going surrounding with Korea and their award shows.
Yeah, to put it lightly. But we are back, and we're going to talk about the big two awards from last weekend, which were the Melon Music Awards and the Mnet Asian Music Awards. Which is also known as Mama. Also on back-to-back nights, which, as somebody who's in the Western world and has 15 hours behind Korea, really messes with your sleeping schedule.
I just find out like the winners like for the next day. I was at work on Sunday, like early Sunday morning, and then I found like the winners. And I'm like, oh, guys, that's cool. This is so cool.
Oh, ever since. I suffered through the 6-hour slog that was Mama. It started at 3 a.m. Again, this is 3 a.m. Central American time, and didn't end until after 9 a.m. It was a slog to get through, because I was texting you. I was texting my fellow K-pop group, my other Noonas that I know.
Like, what the hell is this? You're texting your boyfriend like, I don't get it. I
was actually texting him too. He texted me, he's like, I know you're up. He's like, I know you're up watching this. I just want to say I love you. And I'm like, well, I love you too. And then I was like kind of texting him what's going on. And also, I'm not going to lie, I was ranting about some of the things that was happening. Because I'm like, this is so long. Because about hour 4, it was starting to wear on me. And I'm like, can we just get it going? It was a slog. And we'll get into it. I think we'll get into Mama's second. We'll get into the Melon Music Awards first, because that was on Saturday. Thankfully, it was only 2 hours long, so I could go back to bed.
Because like I think with MMA, I think they focus more on the music, and as you said, I think streaming, like how much people would stream like this sort of music. Because Mama has like more stuff in it. Yeah, Mama has more stuff, which we'll explain later.
We'll get into Mama and why the heck that is a 6-hour award show. But we'll get first into Melon, also known as the MMAs. Melon is basically like Korea's Spotify, I guess, if you want to compare something, because if you're listening to music like on a streaming service in Korea, you're listening to it on Melon. That is like their go-to streaming service. So like when you hit like Melon #1, like real time, that's a huge deal. So, and that's why like I know artists always track like when they hit #1, like how quick they'll hit #1 on Melon. And Melon has a nice, like, I think, broad category of because they touch a lot of stuff. They touch, rap and hip hop, dance, original soundtracks, rocks. Like they trot, because they were definitely focusing a lot on trot, which has been, I don't want to say it's been a trend, because trot music is very, very popular in Korea. It's very much,
it's been like the one that that gave them like who they are as a Korean music back in like what, the 60s, 70s, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's a really big identity to them. Like, because if you hear a trot song, like it's very distinct in terms of its like oompa kind of sound.
They have like a really like yeah, like a kind of like a vibration to their voice. Like you can tell like by like how they sing, like, oh, it's trot music.
Yeah, like they like almost like the pansori, because they kind of take some like the old like pansori like traditional sound and kind of incorporate into this more happier sound. But then there's also like, really beautiful like sadder songs on trot too. I've listened to some trot. I don't listen to trot all the time, but I have listened to some. But this year's been a really big year for trot or the last couple of years, especially this year, they've been seeing an explosion of the genre in Korea. And so like, I mean, like some of the biggest like trends and memes in Korea were to trot. I mean, they had the Hot Trend Award, quote unquote, at Melon, which was Trotman 6, which was 6 trot artists coming together, and they recorded an album. I will say this, one of the trot artists is like a 15-year-old kid too. So
that's pretty good.
I mean, and like I saw the performance, and like they're really good singers and stuff too. So it's just kind of fun to kind of see, like it was kind of fun to see like the different like memes and stuff that have come out of Korea, because they have their own types of memes. I mean, some of our memes carry over to there too, but it's kind of fun seeing like what turns into like, their meme culture in South Korea. So, but I mean, as we said in the beginning of the show, BTS did win a ton of awards. They won 6.
Ton of awards. How many?
Well, they won 6.
6. Oh, right.
They won 6
like
awards, including they swept again the Day Songs, which are the grand prize awards of the night. For the second consecutive year, they swept the Day Songs, with basically sweeping the Song of the Year with Dynamite. Album of the Year was Map of the Soul 7.
7, yeah.
Which I'm happy to see.
I would agree. Yeah, I agree. Like Map of the Soul 7 is like one of their like really significant albums in their careers, because it's like really really important. Like it's like a love letter to their fans, and pretty much show, because you know how BTS has been killing it. Like they have become worldwide phenomenons, and I think like Map of the Soul 7 is like what really got them get them to be more recognized around the world. So that's how I feel. Which I'm pretty much happy about.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this too. I mean, I'm happy to see Map the Soul 7 get accolades. I mean, although, the Song of the Year pretty much has been going to Dynamite,
yeah.
I know one person who's not exactly happy with that. Cedric.
Have you, hold on. Have you showed him like the holiday version of Dynamite?
No, I haven't even told him about the holiday version yet, because I didn't want to screw that on him. BTS dropped a holiday remix version of Dynamite with jingle bells and everything. It's kind of fantastic.
Yes. I
may or may not be sneaking that into Chris's playlist. So sorry. But I mean, add that to the 20 other remixes of Dynamite they had. At this point, I think they're just having fun, just like, hey, what else can we do with Dynamite? Because I think at this point, they're like, fuck it. So, I mean, I would be too, because I mean, at this point, it's been fun. I mean, and I will get into it, because I mean, we've seen other people performing. Like Dynamite's been a hit in Korea too. Like people have been dancing to it and stuff too. Like I've seen
Music Bank award shows. Like for the 100th time. Right now, that includes like the music show, like
oh no, it's been winning like music court, because poor Subin's been dancing to Dynamite for like weeks now. Subin from TXT, who's one of the his head, it's okay. I think it's okay, because every time he does it, he has this huge smile on his face. So I think he's enjoying it. Older brothers. It's their older brother. They're like BTS is the older brothers of TXT. So it's fun. Also, I think because he gets to take the award back home to big hits. So
whatever BTS wins, a win for all. Big hit.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a reason why I think Big Hit's becoming the company of choice currently. So
we're going to become the big 4 now, instead of like SM, JYP, and YG. So
it's not big. It's the big 4. Yeah,
the big 4.
But I mean, looking at besides the fact that BTS won a crap ton of awards and, actually showed up and, did speeches, which, yeah. Seriously, like, even though like COVID is like currently actually it's getting really bad in Korea in terms of COVID. Like they're shutting the country down again. Like worse than that they had the
finally
previous
getting
wave.
getting positive like diagnosis for COVID. Yeah, because back then, like I was like kind of surprised how they're like really restrict, and I don't hear any like big names getting like COVID back in March. But now it's been like a lot of like well-known names are just like getting it now.
The latest casualty. The latest casualty of, well, not casualty, but the latest person to get COVID that's big is Chungha, and she was supposed to have a debut, or she's supposed to have a comeback, and she's sick with COVID. So
it's really it sucks too when I heard that. Like, oh man.
Yeah. So, but I mean, there were some performances at Melon. A lot of these performances we'll see with Melon and Mama were all pre-recorded to follow safety standards and stuff. So like everything was because there's a lot of stuff with these performances playing with like augmented reality, like they're expanding the stages and having like all these like elaborate backgrounds and stuff. So when they
visual effects, which is kind of like one of like the pros I'm gonna give to even Melon and Mama's is I did like have they pre-recorded everything like weeks before is also with Mama, or do you know about that?
I don't think it was weeks before. I think they probably did it all the week before. I would think almost the week before. Like they had to stagger it all with all the different performances, and then had to clean the stage and stuff because they had to probably do a couple takes, especially with some of how elaborate the stages were. Especially again when we get to Mama, with how elaborate these stages were. So it's going to be very much. It's very interesting just to see how things, are working in terms of COVID world, in terms of these award shows.
I understand, but it's pretty much really like that is awesome to like see how like my feet, I guess, prepare like for some of like to much of the extent during this pandemic time. Like they're still able to make some really stunning visual effects in the performances. Like I'm glad that they're able to like take some of those elements as advantages and then just do something creative with it. It's just like pretty cool. Hopefully like American like award shows would probably hopefully do the same thing, or if we have like the ability to have those kind of like those effects.
I hope, but I'm looking at you, Grammys. Especially because they always have performances and stuff. I hope maybe they can utilize some of this technology into that, because you've seen some of these stages and like it's really impressive in what they're doing, because they've been doing it with online concerts. We saw it with Map of the Soul 1. I saw it with Stray Kids when they did their online concert a few weeks back. Which is, I think, Unlock Go Live. They were playing with augmented reality as well. So it's really fun and creative just to see how like they're able to utilize this and kind of expand the theatrics of the performance a little bit. Because I mean, that's the one thing, K-pop shows and performances, they're very theatrical in a way. So
very like they're very high end with their productions, especially when they're music videos.
So let's actually get into it. Let's get into Mama, because that is like the one show of the night and of the weekend, and like I said, 6 hours long. But then we're also talking there were so many performances that night. I think there's got to be at least like 20 performances.
And also like it's no surprise. It's also like BTS's night because it's like a Daesung sweep for them, right? So it's just like, okay, let's get over with BTS. Like they got everything. They got all like the top awards right now.
Yeah, they Daesung swept again at this one. Same the second year in the row. And they also won the most awards.
Icons, male group is just that.
Male group, best dance group, performance,
music video, worldwide fans top choice.
I mean, and also on the production side too. I mean, Hitman Bang was was best executive producer. Best producer went to P-Dog with Big Hit Entertainment. Best video director went to Lumpins, who direct most of BTS's stuff. Like there's been, there's a lot of stuff that is, because of BTS, they've won a ton of awards. So yeah, I think overall they won 8. So 8, again, their nights.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, it pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty much like no surprise though. It's like they've been like again worldwide phenomenon. They're on the Times like cover of Entertainer of the Year. Yeah, it's like this is their time. This is like their golden hour. You know,
this is their era. This is like I'm gonna compare this. This is kind of like EXO, because EXO had that few years before BTS where they were like sweeping. Well, they weren't sweeping, but they were winning like all the big major awards too for a few years before BTS like got to where they're at now. And even like I'll say this, like it's been because they started winning I think like Artist of the Year. This is the third year in a row winning Artist of the Year, third or fourth year. It didn't really start till
I think they are surpassing EXO though, in terms of like the most awards.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, but like this is the one drawback I'll have to Mama is that they have way too many awards. Like I get trying to spread the love to all these different K-pop group acts because there are plenty who definitely deserve accolades, but you have stuff broken down into the best song of the years as well as favorite.
Yeah, which I wanted to ask you, Jenny. Like, do you know what the differences between like the best or favorite? Because what I feel like the best is like the top golden prize, while like the favorites is like like the second. You're like the second place right now, but still good.
Right.
Yeah. What do you know what like the significant differences are between those words? Those titles.
I really don't know what like their correlation between best and favorite is. Like, is favorite like more like fan like is it more fan interaction or something, which again you'd still give to BTS? So is it like a sympathy award saying, hey, we know BTS is taking all these awards, but we're gonna give you awards anyway? Which I guess cool. I guess it happens because occasionally there is always one group that is like reigning supreme in K-pop. Like I guess with you had Big Bang, and then you had EXO, and then now you have BTS reigning supreme really over the K-pop world, and then everyone else is just kind of like, hey, we exist too.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm still pretty new about like the format of like what K-pop award shows are, so I don't like really mind about like either the best or the daesang or like the favorites and like all of the other categories. But I think they should find a way to at least like cram all of those like awards or just like get things over with. So maybe again like pre-record like the awards speeches too. It's like just to make things quick.
Well, we're going to get into some controversies with Mama this year, especially with how things were handled between the presenters and the artists. But first, I want to get into the performances because forget the awards. The performances are almost like the gold standard of the night.
Yeah,
these performances are iconic.
I mean, like if you go back to Melon for a bit, like that performance with Jimin and Jungkook before Black Swan, that would probably like be like one of the most iconic like moments of 2020 because of like so many pictures and fan arts have been like spreading because of like that one shot of them in like that swan posture. That
doing
is
some
beautiful.
contemporary ballet-esque stuff, which again with Jimin's background anyway, contemporary dance, it's like it was perfect. Also, Black Swan is just a really good song to fit that in. Like, and just the whole introduction with Black Swan at Melon was amazing. But honestly, hands down, I think that performance at Melon was like hands down the best performance of the night, and that was the last performance of the night. So it was worth staying up to watch. While for Mama, like I said, there was like 20 to 30 different performances. I lost track because unfortunately on YouTube, because they've reloaded all these performances on YouTube. So if you want to watch any of these performances we're talking about, you can go look online on Mnet's YouTube page. They have broken down all the performances by the groups and almost by their songs too, which for some of them I like and some of them I don't. And I'll get into my reasons why here in a second.
Yeah, sure.
But because like, you started off with Taemin with
oh man, like that. You talk about like starting and making an entrance. That is just really godly. Just no surprise of Taemin to pull that thing off.
Yeah, I mean, leave it to Taemin just to lay it all on the floor and be like, "Hey, award sign!" Like that was. I mean, okay, seriously, Taemin equals Jesus at this rate.
Yeah. Or Satan. I don't know. Whichever, like you would perceive of Taemin.
But I mean, some of my I mean, did you have any like stand of the performances you've watched? And because I know you haven't watched all of them, but I know you watched a good chunk of them. Which ones stand out to you?
Obviously BTS because how I guess different for how they performed their songs, because I know with On they did it like early in the morning at like the stadium, right? At like another arena.
Yeah, BTS actually performed their single On, which again, this is back from episode 7, at the World Cup Stadium in Seoul during the day with like almost like a full marching band. Like it was very much like football halftime show-esque.
Yeah, it's like a football halftime show, and I feel like I'm like watching a Super Bowl performance, but it just makes them feel like it's like what makes them feel like BTS. Like there's like really like booming and triumphant, but like some of like their anthems is it's just. And I like how like they also like leave some space for like Yoongi, especially about like the ending pose, like when they're all like holding together and they have like lots of space for Yoongi, so it's pretty much heartfelt since he's still recovering from his like shoulders.
That's the one thing I've noticed with all their performances as of late. The stuff that they've been doing that's post Suga or Yoongi getting his shoulder surgery is that they've been leaving a space for him. Like they have not. It's a whole because they're very much they are 7. It is OT7 or nothing in BTS.
OT7, but it makes them like one of the most genuine like groups of all time. It's just like how much like their brotherhood, how much they feel like family. So that's what I really love about them.
If one person's down, like it is. It definitely is a hole in the group, and like they kind of embrace it too because they also had what I'm going to call Ghost Yoongi happened during Life Goes On. This is the joke. Me and my friends. Okay, again. This is about hour 6. So I have been up for a long time. At this point, it was like I'm not gonna lie. It was like getting emotional because it's like, oh, they're bringing Yoongi out, and then they zoomed into the AR like virtual Yoongi they had put on stage. And like, oh god, it was.
They're trying to like have like a heart like such like a sentimental like moment with like BTS, but kind of like chuckled for that. Kind of chuckled because it looks so weird. He's kind of like like the Tupac thing, like the hologram.
Yeah,
I feel like it's alive. Sorry.
We have not crossed that uncanny valley yet at all. We're getting there, hopefully. But
you're not Marvel level yet. You're not Marvel Studios level with like their technology. No, I'm kidding.
But I mean, really cool gesture because obviously with Yoongi not being there, which also one of the most hilarious things of the night was basically Yoongi was on Weverse, basically because he was staying to watch the show too, and he's like literally on Weverse, like, how long is this show gonna be? Like, the rest of us, like, oh my god.
Yeah, they even called Yoongi like when they won an award, just to like call, hey Yoongi, like you want to like come up with us or like just like be with us for the speech, which is like that's so sweet.
They literally had him on speakerphone against the mic, doing thanks and stuff too. Because again, they're just OT7. But oh my god, my biggest lie of the night is after we got to the second break in the show, because they basically aired like 2 hours straight, then had like 10 minutes for commercials. Because this is apparently how they do it in Korea. They literally put like on the stream. No, my favorite thing is they put up on the stream in the commercial break between hour 4 was like BTS will be on in 10 minutes. Biggest lie because they weren't on for another 2 hours. So I'm on to you, Mnet.
But also, if you want to talk about the sorry, do you want to say something else, Jenny, about BTS?
Yeah, no. I would say, do you have another performance that was really, really good, or that you really enjoyed?
Well, speaking about like emotional part, like, I would also go with that to NCT. I think did they start like their performance with From Home?
They did. I was not expecting them to perform From Home to start their block of performance, because they performed quite a few songs from Resident.
23 members. Like you gotta have like more shine with them. But From Home, that's one of the most emotional core of like the whole performance in Mnet, because just like this is to show how they look like when they pre-debut, like so much of like the struggle that they've been through, and like how like where they are today. I see a lot of reactions of like people crying, and then and like that really gets to me when it's at the last chorus and they brought up like the foreign, like the non-Korean members into the stage to sing along with them. Like, that's goes right in the heart, man. I don't cry, but it's like, oh, that's really.
Yeah,
That's
it was
powerful what you guys doing there. Yeah,
it was really touching, like to see that, because I mean, "From Home" is a beautiful song, especially when you listen to the original version, which is is a Korean, Chinese, Japanese, and English. There's
and English,
multiple languages sung in it to reflect all the different ethnicities that make up NCT.
Yeah.
So it's fun it was really, really beautiful to see that. And then they broke it down nicely into the different subunits between Wavy, Dream,
1 to 7. Yeah, Dream, which 1 to 7. Oh my God, I hate you, Johnny. I don't know what he's trying to like plan here, but yeah, I'm not. I don't want to be tempted more, other than like with Sun and Kai and like some of the other members in K-pop.
Oh, we're putting a pin on that. We're coming back to Sun later.
No,
I'm getting sad eventually.
I like Dream. I like in Dream because oh, so sorry, I've been like coughing lately. But Jisung, it's pretty good how like Jisung wants to be involved, but he's still recovering from his knee injury. So I like how they put him on the motorcycle. That's so cute. And like Wavy, like oh my God, like Wavy, and it's cold outside. Like didn't like to get wet.
Oh,
like
yeah,
back time.
That rain dance and turn back time. Oof.
Yeah.
Although I will notice, I looked, especially when NCT was accepting their award, because they got an award right after that performance, or I had a couple awards that they received, and they're up there, and I could just see Lucas's face, like he looked exhausted. I'm like, I hope the poor boy's recovering, because he just looked worn.
Everyone just is like, oh man, I really hope like they have a break after like they're all done. I know like they're going to be performing in an Indonesian awards. Like what? Oh my God, it's just like. Yeah, I mean, like, come on, man. Like, I really hope, like, next year that at least they get like a well-deserved break, like BTS did. Like, I know they're still pretty, like, a fairly new group, but yeah, just like SM, give them rest.
Yeah, let these poor boys rest. They've been since October with Residence, so like they've been going hard. Let them have a break, please.
Different subunits too, like with 1 to 7, and then like Dream, and then Wavy with their like doing their own like albums too.
Yeah,
but like the one that like gets like the most exciting like part was like their 2020 Residence performance is just that is some Avengers level hype. Like like me, like I'm such a big like NCT fan. Like I'm an N citizen through and through. You know like, how much I waited for the moment for them to come together, especially with the Wavy and like the new members. And they delivered on stage. It was like, talk about like cinematic, like they killed it, and like they look like some synchronized machine too. Like when like they started, like ooh.
Yeah, I mean, to get 23 people synchronized like they did on stage, especially with like the high above shots and stuff, like it's really impressive. Like I will say this, I like the performance on stage of Mama better than the music video they dropped, because I felt like we got more from everybody, because the music video I felt like kind of cut out some people.
Then it's like with pretty much a mashup of like their like Resonance singles too, and
it was again, this is about
it was like 9 minutes, like 9 minutes. The video was like 5 minutes, like the official video, but like that had more introduction than like with Taman like floating down like SpongeBob.
I've seen that meme.
I saw it. Like he actually said like he saw that the meme picture and he was laughing about it.
Why do we tease poor Taeyong? Why do we do this?
I mean, as long as he's in a good mood, he'd be pretty okay with it.
True. This is very, very true. That seriously was, I mean, because that got me some energy back, because this is about hour 4 into the show. So they were like, we got back from commercials and they went right into NCT, just completely killing it. So,
which I'm pretty happy that like they got like awards too now, Mama. Even though it's like the favorite, like favorite category, favorite this, and which I'm happy that Wavy was the one who was like the subunit that got an award out of like 3, which is like really amazing, because you know how like they pretty much focus our favorite things over for Korean. I'm so glad they gave some love to Wavy, because they're my favorite subgroup out of all NCT.
I think
Yeah,
they're my
maybe.
favorite. They're my favorite subgroup too. There's some kind of chaotic magic with them. Like they're just they really their chemistry really flows together very very well between the 7 of them. Like they seriously are kind of they're insane with how they can do it. So, but yeah, I mean. I guess I'll touch on a couple of my performances that we haven't talked about since we obviously talked about BTS and NCT. I have to say, it's NCT because it was all of NCT. I have to definitely give a shout out to 17 in their performance. Like they had a very, very Broadway-esque performance once again with Left and Right and Home Run. And that was really, really fun to see. Like they did Home Run in this like very like it felt like this very like Roaring 20s-esque.
Yeah, Roaring 20s, like jazzy type of
jazzy, like you know
aesthetic,
like kind of thing, and it was really fun to see because like that song it's such a really fun jazzy song, and so it fits really well with that theme. And like I really love the fact that like they've taken those Home Run stages and gone that full route and embraced the jazz with it.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the thing that I guess like identifies 17 because they do like a jazzy horn instrumentals, and I'm glad that they're becoming bigger. I'm not quite sure if like they were before, but yeah, because that's my sister's favorite band, and I'm glad that they're finally getting more shine to this group.
Yeah, I mean, I think Home Run definitely definitely catapult them because the Home Run was very very popular. So I'm really happy to see 17 experiencing more success now. Again, as Cletus is partially owned by Big Hit Entertainment, so
of course. So it's still like so big with big hits like win.
Big Hits winning. But the one performance,
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that they still got awards too, like the Global Favorite Performer, Notable Achievement, and like worldwide top 10 fans choice.
They definitely are. I mean, they were definitely I think more of a worldwide group too. I mean, they have some worldwide definite noticeability too, especially now. I think if you want to get a crash course on them, go watch their variety show Going 17. They play it's so much fun. It's just chaos every week. The last 2 episodes have been crazy because they were playing the Mafia game. And it's just always chaotic when the 13 of them are playing Mafia. So
every group has a bunch of chaotic people in it. Every group.
It's just fun. It's just their chemistry, like the 13 of them together, their chemistry it's amazing. Like again, it's a bigger group, but like they are able to like make the synchronicity work so well with them, and like their production value is so good.
Yeah, like before NCT, I think like I think people commend like 17 having the most precise like choreography. Like every practice that they still are very like all in sync. That there's no like anyone like lagging behind. Is that they're really strict about like like their dances, which is really amazing for them to do.
Yeah. So, but the one performance of the night I have to tip my hat to. This is the one performance I have rewatched so many times on the daily.
I think it's pretty much got in. Yeah, I think you probably like are disbanded from the army, and now you're this group now.
No. I am Army to A10E. Don't deny that. Actually, technically, Army stay A10E. I'm all 3. But we had. Honestly, God, I think it was the best performance of the night, probably outside of BTS. But I almost kind of give this one a little bit of an edge over BTS, a tiny bit. It was a performance between the boys, ATEEZ, and Stray Kids, which basically was a 20-minute preview for the upcoming competition show Kingdom. That's going to be airing early 2021 on Mnet. Kingdom? It's so I guess a little bit of backstory. So there was a show earlier this year called Road to Kingdom, which had a few groups on it who were competing. And basically it was like groups that don't have like the, who weren't quite as well known in Korea. Like they were like, they had been around for a while, but they hadn't quite got like that, like
recognition.
Recognition and stuff. So this was kind of their opportunity to do that. And I'm just double checking. So the groups that competed on the show were Pentagon, ONF, Golden Child, The Boys, Very Very, One Us, and Two. with the show itself, the group that came out on top was the boys. And from what I've seen with their stages on the show, because basically it was competition every week. Like they would get different like themes they'd have to play with and make performances on them. Like they had to do like 1 week they had to do songs like by the other groups like older groups and rearrange them into different style. 1 week they had to do their own hit song, but then had to reimagine it. The final stage, they had to perform a produced song live, which all I think became comebacks for them too, or most of them became comebacks for the groups. So the group that won was the boys, and by winning, they basically guaranteed them a spot into Kingdom. And it had been rumored for a long time about different groups that were going to possibly compete on Kingdom, but with COVID, it had kind of basically been, they were going to not really, film the show because it just wasn't going to, it was just going to be really, really hard with not having an audience and stuff, being able to compete. So with that, I mean, but now they basically teased it, had Mama with this epic, like, performance,
it's like a teaser performance. It's just like like how like the Avengers like have like their own like own single movie, solo movie, and then like they all come together and to like be this one thing. It's pretty much like equivalent to that, or almost as equivalent to that. It's because you first like started out with like this really royal like costume with like the boys, like they really like look regal looking, and then you go on with like Hyunjin from Stray Kids with like their punky outfit, and then when you get to you get to 80s.
It was very much. I mean, and I guess the whole performance is based on like Greek gods, and because I know Bang Chan came out and talked about it on his weekly live stream, because he's like, because this was all pre-recorded, so he was having his live stream like right at the end of the show, because Stray Kids wasn't at the show because they didn't get nominated for awards, which again, travesty. They did not get nominated for either Backdoor or God's Menu. Freaking travesty.
That is
why they didn't get a worldwide fan choice either, because I think Stays basically were boycotting the show, which I understand. So because I think they probably would have been in the top 10 had Stays not been boycotting the show. So because Stays were really, really pissed off. But yeah, the whole like theme of the performance is like Greek gods, and so you had them breaking down. So like you had the boys in these like really regal white uniforms, like with chariots and stuff, and basically the whole theme is like they're fighting for the crown. And so you had the boys perform, and they're all again reimagining. So this is kind of similar to I think how Kingdom's going to be, where they're all like these reimagining of their performances and stuff, and kind of adding different elements to it to just reimagine their performances and the choreography. Because you had the boys start with Reveal and Checkmate, and then it went into 80s and these holy demonic outfits that drove me nuts for the last week. And
they had the gall to use San as like their performer, even though apparently it's not like the main dancer. He's just like I'm not quite sure what his position is. So, but
San is technically a visual, but he's because I guess the main dancer in 80s is Yoonho, I think. Because if you're talking about on technicality points, it'd be Yoonho, Woo Young, and Minky. Actually, Minky's a really good dancer. Minky's kind of like J-Hope in terms of he's a rapper and a dancer too. San's a visual, but his dance style is very theatrical. Like he's a really good dancer, but he's not very precise. If dancers look at him, he's not very precise. But he puts a lot of theatricality into his performances. Like you see that with Answer, with the and you see with Inception too, because like he has like his hand shaking as it's going away from his face during the beginning of Answer, the Gombayada like a thunder, with the him raising the chalice in the air. He brings a theatricality to the performances, and they all do in 80s. This is, I think, why I really, really love 80s in general. It's just because all of them bring this like charisma and like
personality into their personality into their like performance. Is like makes you like be more appealing, and then like it grabs you more into like their looks and like how they look like or how they feel and into their dances. It's just I agree with you.
I will point out they're the only ones who really didn't use props in their performances between the boys and Stray Kids, because Stray Kids had they were dancing with weapons. I'm not gonna lie, Hunjin's sword dance. Holy shit!
The Aries of K-pop, is he supposed to represent Aries?
They were supposed to represent Aries, the god of war. ATEEZ was supposed to represent Hades, the god of death.
Hades,
they're coming out of the underworld, which. They are. Holy crap! Because they dragged me to hell.
Drag me to hell.
I mean, okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm between Songwa's fucking cape and I'm not gonna lie. I just rewatched the performance before we recorded, and all of a sudden noticed his arms, and I was like, oh my god, his biceps, and I freaked out.
Sounds they're his I guess BDSM gimp leather suit, because he's covered at the front, but at the back when he took off his furry coat, there's almost nothing. It's just a strap with two.
The thing was held on with 3 straps. I don't know how he danced in it. Oh my god! And if he Woo Young's half coat jacket, if it's his arms are down, it looks like a jacket, but then he lifts his arms up and it's hello abs. And then between Yoonho and Jongho, I'm oh my god, I'm just dying. And then Hongjun at the end, his smirk on the fucking throne. I'm
oh yeah, that is the king of hell. That is a king of hell underworld look over there. As
I'm saying here, all hail our demon pirate king Kim Hongjun. Because I'm not gonna lie, the whole underworld thing goes really well with their pirate theme too. So
those Pirates of the Caribbean, when they turn into zombies at night. That's pretty much ATEEZ.
also shout out also I'll say they really are awesome for being able to get get their choreography because obviously Minky's currently out with anxiety. So it's also really awesome to see Songwa covering for Minky, because originally before they debuted, Songwa was actually he actually auditioned as a rapper. Songwa can rap, so seeing Songwa cover some of Minky's lines was really, really cool to see. So
that's cool. Yeah, it's kind of different how how BTS whenever they have go to Yoongi or Suga's parts, they go to this empty space. But for ATEEZ, at least they still a genuine thing. They cover some of the parts for Mingy, which is pretty sweet too.
Because I think they know because their chant is 8 makes 1 team, so they're really much they're also very much on it, but they showed in a different way of how they can do it. But I think it would be awesome. Mingy's back for Kingdom. I don't want to push Mingy, but I'm hoping he would be back to Kingdom. I also have to touch on Stray Kids, because Stray Kids' performance too is really, really good with their, because they did Victory Song, which is a very EDM heavy song, but it was kind of fun to hear they kind of remixed it with these really strong trumpets and stuff instead of the bass with Victory Song. So it was fun seeing that, as well as just because they also have very much charisma on stage. Seriously, it was one of the best performances of the night. I was absolutely floored. I know I was watching it with my friends, and all my 18 friends and Stay friends were oh my god. And one of my friends literally, she's we were watching ATEEZ, and Yeosan came up, and she's oh my god, he looks like an anime character.
Every a lot of K-pop members look like anime characters. It's just
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. So, my 18 heart is so blessed. I don't
that's one of the biggest highlights. Is just with ATEEZ itself is just how they look is just
it's just their performance. It's so good.
Really, it's really dramatic. It's something you can see in a current opera. I feel very.
Yeah. They're super theatrical. Any of their performances are super, super theatrical. If you're into any kind of performance like that, please check out ATEEZ's stuff. This is kind of their. Also, shout out to ATEEZ also getting, which was called the Discovery of the Year, aka Sorry We Slept on Ya last year award.
We're sleeping. The word of NDT. We sleeping. Gonna wake you up.
Because honestly, last year between Rookie Year was honestly between ATEEZ and TXT last year, and TXT won. Honestly deserved. ATEEZ really good, but ATEEZ wasn't as like popular in Korea. It's only been this year, like they've really blown up, and I'm thinking Immortal Songs for that. They're doing the Black Hat and Arrow on Immortal Songs. Like I think everybody away, and I was like, these guys are legit. Pretty much. So, yay, ATEEZ, because they also won Worldwide Fan Choice. They were actually pretty high up on the Worldwide Fan Choice Awards. I think they were the top 4th gen group. So, they're like, they are up there.
There were like rankings of like the top 10. I thought it was just like the list of like a top 10.
I don't know. I feel like they were counting backwards. I'm not sure if they were counting backwards or how they were doing it, because I felt like they were counting backwards. Because although
I
one
thought they
was
just picked 10, like I thought they just picked 10 groups that are like the current top most listened bands right now.
The Worldwide Fans Choice Top 10 is actually, so it's 60% online voting. So through like tweets and stuff, or 60% online voting, 20% social media, which is like through Twitter and stuff. That's why you always saw like Mama Fan Choice ATEEZ or Mama Fan Choice BTS or whatever. And then 20% of the vote came from just overall their music video counts. So people were streaming music videos to get their counts up too, because that's part of the vote as well. So there's some weird math involved. But yeah, I mean, that is, rumor has it there'll probably be more groups added to Kingdom before I go on to Mama controversies. The rumors more groups added to Kingdom. Rumor has it TXT might be joining. I know there were rumors. This was all last year when we thought we were going to have Kingdom happening this year, but we didn't. There was rumors that TXT might join. There may have been Dream might have been in it too. Or 17, but I don't think 17 is going to do it now, because 17, like I said, had a really amazing second half of 2020. I wonder if it's going to be more 4th gen groups and maybe a 3rd gen group coming in to compete. And if it's a 3rd gen group, I wonder if we could get Monsta X in there, because I feel like that would be fun. To see them, because I feel like, I will say this, Monsta X and Gravity had the weakest performance of the night on Mama. They if you want to see a younger group in the same label cover or older Sunbae Nim's group, go watch TXT covering Dynamite on their stage, because Gravity was covering what were they covering from? They're covering Shootout from Monsta X, and it just lacked. It really lacked like any kind of like strength to it. It just felt very, very weak. So
not enough touch vibrations. No, I'm kidding. So,
I don't know. That's just my point. That's just my opinion. So, but I know I will be watching Kingdom. I will be freaking out, because I don't know if I'm going to be voting between ATEEZ and Stray Kids, because they're both like some of my favorite groups.
The one of being a multi-stan, like the struggles of being a multi-stan. Choose between one. The only one.
There can only be one. There can only be one king on Kingdom, and I'm gonna cry. But before we go, but besides all the fun we had with all these stages and performances, it did come to light after the award show, and kind of during the show too, because I heard some of these things happening as the shows were on, because we get bored because we're all going stir crazy, and it was just coming to light that how people were being, especially the idols, were being handled wasn't really nice. So, like I said, all the performances and stuff were filmed beforehand for all the idols and stuff. And they actually had the show live. So they're doing all the awards live. So all the groups were basically there waiting to get awards. But because of COVID and because it's getting worse in Korea in terms of like lockdown structures, because they're almost tripling now the amount of cases they've had previously. They had actually, they had to follow social media, social distancing stuff. But that didn't mean you had to keep all the idols in their cars in a dusty parking lot in the cold. While all the actors who came to present the awards all got like nice cozy green rooms and all this. I will go. This is from this is from all K-pop. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I mean, some of the photos that came out are kind of sad.
Yeah, which I don't really understand. Like, I know how I feel about Mama. I think this is like the equivalent of like Korea's Grammy Awards. That's how I feel like. So I'm not quite sure why they have included like a bunch of like actors for like a awards category. Like they could have like had it in like a different awards other than Mama, because it's like Mama is like, yeah, Mnet Asian Music Award, their music. There's nothing like dealing with like actors. But I think that's why it was like 6 hours long. But yeah, I don't really understand that like notion.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who watched it live, and there's all this unnecessary banter between the actors, and it's very stilted and stuff. And it's like, let's just get on with it with the award, to have the idols come out and accept their awards. And they basically almost did every single award. Like, there's only like some small packages they had, like when they were touching all the other countries, like their best artist of the year, because they're trying to be quote unquote Asian. Let's just call it for what it is. It's mostly K-pop.
Yeah, Korean. Like the only Asian that's like is like outside of Korea is Wavy.
And they also had JO1 perform, which is from Japanese version of Produce 101. They performed, so I guess they're Asian. Question.
It's like a 2% of like non-Korean in Asian awards.
Yeah. So I mean, let's call it for what it is. It's K-pop awards, but they try to make quote unquote Asian. Which I'm happy that's
and then make fun of MKMA. MKMA.
MKMA. Yeah. It still could work.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's photos. It does roll off the tongue as well, but there were photos coming out about how the idols were all sitting out in the parking lot in their like cars in between the awards. All cramped in these cars. I mean, not to mention like, NCT himself is going to have basically a caravan to keep everyone socially distant. But like, they're all
even if you think like BTS would have like special treatment, apparently like when Taehyung was like giving a speech, he thanked like their manager for waking them up in the parking lot. So even BTS doesn't have like special treatment as well. Like they get like the low end of the stick too.
There was a rumor that 2 groups got waiting rooms, though they didn't say which waiting rooms. But if Tae said they were waiting in the parking lot, then I'm assuming BTS was also in the parking lot too. You thought they would be, because they kept coming in to have an award, but. Yeah, I mean, it led to some hilarious jokes. I know there was one Twitter is like, all the members of NCT 17 got 7, and some other group were all on the parking lot playing rock, paper, scissors with all 3 members of them. Nobody's won yet.
That would have been like that's like something like the interaction I would like to see online, especially with BTS too, because I know like people get stingy when like other groups like interact with each other. I don't understand why, but did you hear about like the thing with like NCT and Treasure going out to McDonald's when they're like waiting for their awards?
Really?
Yes, that's been like what's been going on with the memes. So it was like NCT and Treasure, like just like going to the nearest place to McDonald's, and all I could think of is like this one artist like called Wesley Willis. It's like he's some really just. I don't know if you know him, but like he's got this song called like Rock and Roll McDonald's. That's all I could think of, like when NCT and Treasure are just like going out together. And like the thing, like I kind of have like the scenario since like Shotaro is like a new Japanese member. I would like to see him interacting with like the 4 Japanese in Treasure, like new friends.
Right. I mean, oh my god, like,
that's like one of like.
I know this is one thing, because you kind of missed this year's, because since they weren't in Hong Kong, which they've been doing Mama in Hong Kong for a long time now, and so they all fly to Hong Kong, and then they're all like, there's like the artist area where all the groups are sitting and stuff. You didn't get any of that this year, any of the interactions, but but basically it's coming out. It came out with a lot of the different articles and stuff online. I mean, a lot of K-Nets were really, really mad. It's like, you're treating, actors better because they all got green rooms, because they're taking picture of like all of them in green rooms, nice and warm. They got food and stuff. Meanwhile, all these idols who are all the performers and who you're, supposedly awarding.
The awarding, this is mostly like most of like the awards are based off is like outside.
Freezing in the cold. It's like, you couldn't maybe put like a tent up to like, for like staging or something, or I don't know, maybe we could just go completely virtual with the show and maybe have them like streaming in from like
their awards speeches.
Yeah, like have them or have them like, live stream from their respective like agencies. Like, you'd have like BTS at Big Hit, you'd have like 17 at Pledis, like, you'd have that kind of thing.
I really also, I get like if you want to do it like more traditional, like do it live, and I get like you've been like following like the social distancing rules, but couldn't you like accommodated, like give them accommodations of a comfortable space that they can like chill in, like find like the nearest building? I'm not quite sure, like I don't know exactly where their venue is, but like you find like the nearest hotel or something like they can like stay in just to keep themselves warm.
Because I'm feeling continuances, because there's another controversy that's brought up later into this, because Dispatch went and did some digging. Yeah, and the team more. Of course, Dispatch, would be going in there and sticking their noses.
Doing something useful at level, just like a dating or drug scandal. It's just like, wow.
Hey, we haven't gone to New Year's yet. The dating scandal will be happening soon. But basically, Dispatch went to the site that Mamas were being filmed at this year, which is in Paju. It was the CJE&M like content world, where I guess they also filmed Island earlier this year too. To note, this place is still currently under construction. Like only two of the 10 buildings that they're creating in here to like create like a bunch of studios and stuff are still not complete. So it's still an open construction zone for the most part. And so they basically noted that there is so much fine dust and black dust everywhere in the pre-recording areas on the stages that idols were actually their face masks. Their face masks were getting black because they're wearing white face masks. They're all getting black. Their throats and their sinuses are getting irritated as they're performing on stage, pre-recording all their performances. It's just, apparently it was just a dirt lot that they literally had all the cars sitting in a dirt lot because it wasn't even paved. So like groups can even like have the windows cracked open to have some fresh air coming in because there's just so much dust flying around on Sunday around it. It just was so dusty and just not exactly the best conditions to really even perform in. Because I mean, you feel bad because like, singing is their lifeblood. Like if you're and there's all this fine dust performing and they can't perform with masks on, because fine dust is a huge thing in Korea, and that's why everyone wears masks. And so
that's one of the most poorly handled like things I've heard like from Mama. Like I don't know how worse they've done like in the past years, but this one they could have been more prepared. Like especially at this time of like pandemic, they could have like had like thought of something better. We had months for them to plan, and they came up with this. It's really poorly handled, man. It's poorly managed.
Yeah, I mean, from what the agency official that blabbed at Dispatch said, basically they just performed on a construction site stage. That's basically what everyone had to perform on. So I mean, K-Nuts again are angered. I mean, even as an international, and I'm angered too, because it's like, I mean, you don't want to perform in like in sub optimal conditions, especially when as big as some of the epic as some of these stages were. Like you don't want to have to deal with all that stuff. And like it just it was very poorly handled in terms of the show. Like I think you could easily shave an hour off the show had they just like not had done the banter and stuff, and like just had done like the the VCRs in terms of like who the nominees were, and then cut to them in their respective agencies, and like you could still have them dress up. I mean, you can still have them dress up and hang out and stuff, but that way then there's not all this weird awkward shuffling, because they were also sanitizing on stage too. This also turned into the meme, the two sanitizing ladies.
The robot lady.
Which I feel so bad for this lady having to stand in those neon green stilettos for 6 hours with her smoke gun. Because that was one thing too people were mad about, is like, that's not properly sanitizing. It was just, it's just, hot water spray, effectively, quote unquote, sanitizing the mics, because the actors were all coming out with no masks on. But then after the first 2 awards, all the idols were coming out and doing their speeches in masks, because I don't think they felt safe, with the spread of COVID. So for the majority of the show, all the groups were coming on in masks, and they were doing their speeches in masks, and just for their safety. So yeah, I mean, as much as like I really do enjoy the performances and stuff on the stage and stuff, Mama was really poorly in 2020 COVID times, and I hope this is a learning curve. Although I don't really know, because Mnet has plenty of issues.
Yeah.
So
they have so much things that they can learn, but yeah, they just either forget,
Yeah, I mean, time makes you forget, quote unquote. So at this point, who knows what's going to happen from it. But I mean, this probably will pass. But I mean, again, Mnet's had many, many issues in the past in terms of how they treated idols, that people kind of look at them. I mean, like I said, besides the fact that, some groups, aka Stray Kids, not getting nominated for anything, like even like Blackpink, like I think JYP is pretty much like severed all ties with Mnet, because like Blackpink won awards, but they even offer
but they didn't show up.
Message. They did not show up at all, although Treasure was there. So I don't know.
It's kind of weird. Like, how like YG doesn't want like their artists to like go to Mnet, but they had Treasure, so I'm not sure like what the strategy or what like made them like put them instead.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure either. JYP is weird. So, but yeah,
you mean YG?
Or not JYP, YG. I'm sorry. JYP. I'm so JYP should be mad because the Stray Kids wasn't there. But yeah, I mean, I'm still hyped for Kingdom. Even though that's on Mnet. So although something tells me that they're gonna pin a group as like, the bad group, because they had to have like a villain and stuff, and like, telegraph like something was gonna lose. And I have a feeling they're gonna make that ATEEZ because they're from a smaller agency. I'm like, that better not happen, because international ATEEZ livid. So
don't make like Jenny pissed off. Don't make her come over there to Korea.
I will fly to Korea and kick some ass. I'm playing other ATEEZ, believe me. But yeah, this has been a wrap up of the BTS awards. Oh, I'm sorry, the Mama and the MMA.
Everything was like named after BTS. Like there's like BTS law. There should be probably going to be a BTS street like on one of these days. There's just like everything. All the world's going to be all just BTS. Just named under BTS.
Yeah,
we're all going to be ARMY one of these days. You're
going to be ARMY, whether
you like it or not. We're all going to be ARMY.
Yeah. I mean, depending on your level of how engagement. If you enjoy any kind of BTS, you're technically ARMY, so welcome. I mean, depends on how devoted you want to get, I guess. But that being said, I think we can wrap it up. I mean, should we start plugging our stuff?
Yeah, sure. We can end this off by doing plugins. So you can find me on Facebook at Jenny Liano, Instagram at Jenny Designs for my official design page. Or if you want to get to my personal IG or Twitter, it is RCL_ImagoJin. All right, Jenny?
And you can find me, Jenny, on Facebook, facebook.com/Jenny Matisek. That's Jenny with an I. You can always find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Chaos Bulldog. Make sure to check out all the other content here on the Metropolis Collective. Plenty of shows that fit your fancy. I know we got more content coming on the way from many, many different creators on the platform, on the site. So look forward to that. And we'll be back.
Also, we're going to pages on Twitter and Instagram at Noonas_podcast.
Yes, thank you. I would also check out our show page on Twitter and on Instagram, Noonas_podcast. Don't forget that underscore. Hoping to be tweeting, especially as we're going to be wrapping up 2020 here a little bit more. I think next week we're going to be hitting up our top 10s before we say sayonara, or I should say anaseo to 2020. Say, oh yeah, to 2020. because 2020 needs to go bye-bye very, very quickly here.
Bye, adios. That's the words of Everglow.
Yes, no, I appreciate that Everglow reference. But so look forward to our top 10 next week. I'm still struggling to get through figure out my top 10. It's
that'll be like a homework to sit through.
Yeah, we got a lot of work ahead of us. So with that, fighting.
Fighting.
See you guys next week.
See you. 안녕하세요.